Hello everybody, and welcome back to another show here on my YouTube channel. Now, as always, and as the title says, you already know what it's going to be about today, so quite simply let's just move on and do it. Having a look at these two photos here of your first prototype today, you can see this is HS4000 named Kestrel. She was a prototype high-powered mainline diesel locomotive built in 1967 by Brush Traction at Loughborough. Now Loughborough's not far from where I live actually. The locomotive number is actually a combination of the initials of Hawker Siddeley, the manufacturers, obviously being HS, and of course the power rating of its Sulzer diesel engine, which is 4,000 horsepower, hence HS4000. Okie dokie then, let's bring round the model itself. Now guys, I can tell you this is a Heljan. It's a beautiful model. There she comes. Get her through. Right, stop her there. Let you have a proper look. Now the thing is with Heljan, what I like about Heljan is the fact that they tend to pick locomotives to produce that other well-known manufacturers like Hornby and Rivarossi, Bachmann, etc. Don't actually do. So that makes them a little bit unique, and of course they made a fabulous job of this. There she is, HS4000, as explained in the narration just a few minutes ago. Now the thing is, there's plenty of information about her out there on the net, but there's not very much video of what she's pulling. And what bits I have seen, she's actually pulling what I would class as a mishmash of Mark 1 coaches, or Mark 2 even, whichever. So I've basically done that. I've just got a load of old Triang and Hornby stuff out, a bit of mix and match, just 6 of them all together, and I put them on there as you can see. And that is fine for me for our first prototype number 1. So yeah, back through to the front and then we'll move on. And there she is. Sterling, absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's go and do some more. Now for our second prototype today, I doubt she's going to need very much introduction, if anything at all, because I would imagine that every railway enthusiast around the world has heard of our beautiful British Railways DP1 and English Electric, or commonly known as Deltic, Class 55. And here comes the beautiful model. She is beautiful. Now I have done an unboxing of this. This is the Bachmann one. So if you want a good look at her, you can go and have a look at the unboxing. But I'll show it to you anyway. Typical Bachmann quality. Weighs an absolute ton. And she's just simply perfect. I will just mention something here. I know you always learn things in life, and I didn't realise. I often wonder why the headlight at the top doesn't work on these, and I've been told it's because they were going to use them out in Canada, but that never happened apparently, and so there was no lights ever fitted into them here in the UK. Now I have seen footage of the DP1 here, prototype, pulling freight on some experimental runs to see how she's performed. So to be different, that's what I've done. I've put loads of freight on, quite a few mineral wagons. Now I've put 4 of these on, the good old Johnny Walker, because somebody said to me, why don't you do a Scotch train? So yeah, I've done that with these. Yeah, I've got new stickers for those as well. Then I've followed that with 6 of the axle carrying wagons, and then a brake on the end, like so. Okay, so we'll just bring around to the front. And there she is again in all her glory. Right, I'll move on to the next bit. And now for this third prototype today, I've actually managed to find 3 quite good photos of her, but unfortunately they're in black and white. D0260, named Lion, was a prototype Type 4 mainline diesel locomotive. She was built in 1962 by the Birmingham Railway Carriage and Wagon Company. I'm fairly sure I got that right. In association with Salter, which is the company that designed the engines that we spoke about earlier. And along with Associated Electrical Industries. She was built at the Smethwick Works in Birmingham. Now get this, it was built to demonstrate the wares to British Railways. The locomotive's number was derived from its work serial number, which is DEL260. Okay, here comes the model. Now once again we're back to Heljan, and like I said to you a little bit earlier, I love the way that Heljan pick items that aren't manufactured by other leading manufacturers, and they produce them for us. And there we have it, Lion, beautifully detailed, which again Heljan do a very good job of everything they do. Really heavy again, as you would expect from a quality product. Now what I've done with this, I've put 11 coaches on her, so let me take her through slowly and I'll show you and explain. I might as well just go to the first coach really, because they're all the same, and I'll explain why. Right, first thing I'd like to point out is you can see here that I have actually close coupled them with the tow bar. My plan was to do that throughout all of them, but I had a massive problem in doing so. It's a bit long-winded to explain, but basically I've managed to close couple about half of them like that, and the others I've had to use couplings. As I say, it's a long story. It took me ages to sort it out, but we'll skip that bit. But anyway, look, you'll see here on these coaches, old Mark 1 coaches from the 60s. There's no numbers, there's no decals, no nothing. And these coaches are what came with the. You remember, if you remember back, the company that did. Build your model 1960s model railway or something like that. Well, when the first part came out, they were giving this coach away free, so I went and bought 10, and of course I got another one come during the course of the procedure of all the different volumes that came through. So for the first time ever, I've run all 11 of them here on the back of Lion. So I'll just take a round look. I mean, you know, they're all the same. What I'm going to do, because although I'm actually brilliant with electronics and I'm brilliant with anything mechanical, when it comes to art and drawing and decals, I'm absolutely crap. I just can't get it together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send all these coaches out to my friend Eric in Slovenia at some point. By the way, I didn't put a brake on the end by way of a change, so it's not a big deal, is it really? I'm going to send them out to Eric in Slovenia and let him decal them for me and put some running numbers on. So there we go then. Look, there's your third one. You're going to see 7 prototypes in today's video, but for the moment, like I say, there's your third one. So there's Lion, there's our prototype DP1, and there is Kestrel HS4000. So with that, I think this calls for the first running session. Yes, time to do it. Here we go then, and let's see what kind of footage we can get out of this first running session. Seems like an exceptionally good speed to me. Not too much over the top. No, looking okay. Let's get you a flyby. With the beautiful Kestrel. HS4000. Perfect. Okay, so we're over here. Get the Deltic prototype around next. Yeah, that also looks like a good speed. Yeah, I'm happy with both of those. Yeah, that's all good. Right, prototype number 3, here we go. Lion. That also too looks like a good speed. Now this is definitely very busy. There's a lot of wheel noise. I'm sure you're going to hear it anyway. Let's have a go at a few shots and see what we can come up with. Some beautiful locomotives here, guys, and some great full-length trains at the same time. Okay, Kestrel. DP1. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I forgot to do a flyby that one, so that was okay. Yeah, no worries. Let's get to the White Lion on this time round. Flyby. Yeah, perfect. Outstanding. Okay, let's go for some more different angles. I think the old 60s clock's in the way. Oh no, disaster. Oh, that was nice with the two of them there. I'd like to get the delta on its own actually. Can we do that? No, not yet. Yeah, the White Lion's going a little bit faster, so we should get the delta on its own shortly. I guess there's a possibility that this time round might happen with all the freight. Could happen this time round. And I think it's going to, guys. It is. Here we go. That was perfect. Absolutely what I expected to happen. Alright, let's change angles again. I always love these shots from down the length of the room. It's the only position I can get because of the room being L-shaped and not particularly that big. At least I get the chance to get a long run down the room from this point here. That looks really cool, really good. Yeah, okay. Another change again. Not going to be easy to get Kestrel on her own because of the two being quite long going in the anti-clockwise direction, but you never know, might happen. No, not there, it's not going to happen. Alright, we're going to have to try a top view for this one, I think, unless maybe... No, not going to happen. Let's get up so we can get Kestrel. Right now. Yeah, we got there. That's good. Happy with that. Let me do a couple of rounds now with the onboard cam. Okay, time to stop everything. Let's do that. Slow everything down. Right, here we go. Nice and gently. Here comes Lion. Yes. Spiffing. Bloody perfect. Okay, Deltic prototype, plus 55, here we come, lower down gently, yes, well I've got those two, alright, Kestrel, finish the last shot with of this part of the video. Ooh, a bit further. I was a bit abrupt there with the control, sorry. There you go then, there's the first three. Wicked. Time to clear the layout and bring on some more. And next up we have this incredibly beautiful looking futuristic train. If you've never seen or heard of one of these, it's called the APTE, which stands for Advanced Passenger Train Experimental. This train was a project of British Rail that started its life around about the late 60s. The train consisted of just the front car, as you can see here in the photo, two centre coaches and then the dummy at the other end. It was powered by 4, I believe, turbine engines, and it was the pioneering concept of the active tilting mechanism. She was in service from 1972 to 1976, but she didn't actually ever carry any passengers, only the scientists and the experts in their own individual field. Now, if you're interested in this train and you want to see and read more about it, you must go to Wikipedia and study it, because there's pages and pages of information and it's absolutely compelling reading. You must go and check it out. Anyway, that's enough from me now. Let's just bring round the model. Right, here we go, and made by Rapido, being the only company that has made it, and what a sterling job they did of it as well. Bring it around for you. Right, okay, we'll stop it there for a minute, let you have a look at the front. Ignore the scuffs there, I've got to clean them off, but I still haven't got round to it. When I first ran her, last year sometime, in a video as part of a lot of other HSTs and things like this, APTs, she was catching the little hook there, and it was glued down, and I didn't realise it for a few times around, so I need to obviously sort that out. But anyway, there's the front. You can see, look, the APTE. Rapido have made an incredibly good job of making this. It must have been a massive task to design it all. You can see there the first one is PC1, yeah, and then the coach that follows it is TC1. So I'll just pull back and take her through, let you have a look, because in the second coach, she's very quick off the mark as well. In the second coach there, you can see the lighting's on, and the chairs and tables, etc, etc. But if we move on to the second centre coach, TC2 here, this one has all the computers in it and all the equipment for measuring all the different things that was happening within the train. So try and let you have a look at that. There they are, look, with all the lights on. Reel-to-reel tape recorders, which there were in those days. And I think you'll find, if I go forward a bit more, come on, you might be able to see the flashing lights on one machine. Yeah, there, look. Yeah, all cool stuff. And then of course we're at PC2, look, which is, of course, is the other end. What is also interesting about this is the PC2 here only has one wiper, and the front one has two, so that's a little bit different. So I'll just bring around the ones. It runs beautifully. Okay, we'll do there at the front. So there she is. Brilliant. Fantastic job they've done of that. There you go then. Right, let's move on to the what's this, the fifth one for today. Yeah, coming up, fifth one. Now, although the APTE was scrapped, and I don't mean the train because that's in York at the National Railway Museum, I mean the project itself, that was scrapped in 1976, but there was pressures on for BR to get something out there based on the APT tilting mechanism, blah blah blah, and it was 1980 that they pushed out the APTP, or mainly just the APT. The P, the P was prototype or prototypes, because they actually built 3 sets. I think there was 14 cars per set, I'm fairly sure that's right, and they ran from 1980 to 1986, but completely dogged with problems. They were just having a lot of problems with it. It just eventually got pulled after 6 years service. But again, I can show you the model. Now this time, guys, we're talking Hornby. I believe Lima did a set of this as well, but this is the Hornby one. Now, you heard me say in the narration a couple of minutes ago that they did 3 sets of these, and they were all 14 car sets. Well, I can go up to 10, but I've kept this at 8 because it's on the inside track, and it's going to look silly long if I add all of them on. But yeah, there's the front. Now there's 2 versions of this. You can see this has got the black surround around the window, and I have the other one which is plain yellow, that's just with the window in the middle, so you haven't got the black surround. But I decided to use this particular version because it's exactly the same as the photos you've just seen. So just bring her through slowly and tell you a couple of bits about it as we go through it. Now I can tell you for sure that when Hornby went ahead to do this, they actually got together with the engineers that built it, in order they needed to converse with each other to be able to make the model. Now there's the first power car with the obviously the pantograph. These were electric, of course, not turbine, and then you've got the Intercity logo on the side, and then as we move on, it's usually run like this with 2 power units. Here's the other one, and you'll notice this has got the Intercity APT on that side, whereas that one's just got the symbol, and that's how it was normally run. So I'll just bring it through, because like I say, I've added a couple of extra coaches in. So there's another one, and another one, and another one, and then the dummy on the DVT on the end there. So just bring it through again. That's as good a place to top as any. And that brings us to the 6th one, which will be the final one for this video. So stay with me. Both LMS numbers 10,000 and 10,001 can certainly be called a pair of prototypes. They were actually the first mainline diesel locomotives ever to be built in Great Britain. They were built in association with English Electric and the London Midlands Scottish Railway, and I think they were built at the Derby Works. They were using the English Electric 1600 horsepower diesel engine, the generator and the electrics. Under the British Railways tag, they became the Class D16/1, generally used singularly, but then for quite a while they were paired up and they stayed together for quite a long time. Now, initially they were built and certainly used for passenger service, and they stayed together, like I said, pulling stuff from London to Glasgow and vice versa for quite a few times, quite a few years. I have also read somewhere that they eventually did get used on freight and still as a pair, because they were pulling very, very heavy loads up some very steep gradients. Not quite sure of all the figures, but again, if you're interested, you can check all this out on the internet, of course. Sad thing is, both units were scrapped in the 60s. I think it was 63 for 10,000 and I think it was 66 for 10,001, which is a bit of a shame. However, I do believe that there's a preservation society that is actually rebuilding one, so that'd be cool when that comes out. And so, as I always say, well, let me show you the models. And so for the last section of today, before we do the final running session, here they come. The pair of them together. Now again, we've got a change of company. You've seen Rapido trains and Hornby, now you're looking at Bachmann. So there's 10,000. Oh man, these are beautiful and typical Bachmann quality. They are ridiculously heavy. Certainly don't need traction tyres. Driven on all 6 axles. Now you'll see there that I've coupled them with the solid toe. And here's 10,001. Both of these have the 2 drivers in them. Yeah, 10,001 ended up with a yellow front panel, as you've just seen there. Forgot to mention that. And you'll also notice what I've done here, because this locomotive does have the NEM. Excuse me. Whiskey went down the wrong hole. Right, she does have the NEM packets, or pockets, if you want to call them, so I'll put a large D connector in there to couple to the freight. Now, from a freight point of view, I've used 10 container wagons. Now, bearing in mind that 10,000 was scrapped in 63 and 10,001 here was scrapped in 66. Container wagons started appearing around about the mid-60s, so it's not particularly unrealistic that at least one of them could have pulled something like this. I didn't want to put passenger coaches on because we've got 2 passenger sets running round. I wanted to keep it different, and I haven't shown any of these container wagons for a long time. Now look, I put 10 on, and obviously there's one, and you'll notice, or you might not notice, but I'll tell you, every single wagon, container wagon, is different. There's not one the same, they're all different. Now the reason I put 10 on is because any more I think would look out of place. Again, the layout's not that big, we don't want it chasing its tail with its nose, and I haven't used a brake van because there's just no reason why I need to on this for a change again. Now those container wagons I've just shown you, I have possibly as many as 6 or 8 of each single one of them, which means I can run trains with all the same container wagon. For example, we could have a rail freight train with all the wagons the same, and so on, so on. But for this particular project, I've just chosen to use different ones. So time for me now to top the whiskey glass up. Now the last bit's just choked me. So I'll do that, and then we're in for the final running session. Okay, everything has now been repositioned for the final running session, so let's just simply get on and do it. If I think of anything worth telling you, I'll jump in here and there and now and then and let you know. Now, the first thing I can think of is, on this Hornby APT here, both the 2 power cars there, they're very rattly. There's nothing wrong with them, it's just the way it seems to be designed. So it's going to be a little bit noisy today. We've got a few rattles and squeaks and all sorts going on. But yeah, it's no big deal, it's the way it is. Get the speed, I mean it's an APT, so we don't want it dawdling along, but I also don't want to make it look stupidly fast. I'm sure you can hear the rattling. I don't think that looks too bad, to be honest with you guys. So, well, we're over here on the right, okay. The pair of diesels, 10,000 and 10,001. Now again, I can tell you now, a couple of these container wagons, and I'll tell you who they are. It's that one and that one, they rattle. I don't know why, because I've glued everything on. I'm a big hater of Triang or Hornby stuff where stuff falls off all the time and you try and put it back in the boxes. I've just glue gunned everything on, so there's no need for them to come off really, is there? Okay, yep. So I'm sure you can hear everything's a bit noisy now already, but it doesn't matter. Okay, APT time, APTE time. Same again, I mean, this is a fast train. I don't think I told you in the narration, but during the testing of the 4 years she was doing all the testing, she made about 153 point something miles an hour, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think we can leave things at that. I think that's kind of alright. I didn't want the freight train running too fast, but I did want the pair of APTs to look reasonable at least. Okay. Little bit of camera work for you. I'm no David Bailey, I can assure you. Beautiful and so sleek. I mean, can you imagine and can you not see what it would have been like in 1969, about 1969, when British Rail first started doing the APTE. I mean, it must have looked like something from outer space. Oh, wasn't too bad. I think we can get a better shot of that though, isn't it? Just a case of catching them as they come round and which way it's going to turn out, to be honest. Could possibly get it this time round, I think. No, not really. Just a little bit there at the end. Okay, I'll go for some different angles anyway, as always. Oh yes, that was good. I like that one. That was pretty cool, that one. Both APTs together. Yeah, you can't ask for better than that. Let me use the onboard camera for a couple of times round again. It should be interesting to see what it's like. Okay everybody, well that's about it now. Before I go, I'm going to do something. I'm going to give a shot. I'm going to leave the double-ended diesel on the freight at the speed that it is, which is absolutely fine, but I'm going to take both the APTs up to a ridiculously, well, possibly close to a proper HST speed now. We'll start with the inside line with the APT Intercity. Let's check it out. Oh wow, man, that is shifting. I mean, I hope it's going to stay on the track. I mean, to be honest with you, it tilts, so in theory it should stay on the track. That, man, is shifting. I'm going to tweak it a bit more. Oh Christ, look at that. She's right up, guys. She's right up at that. Okay, we'll try the APTE. Let's get her going a bit faster to see if it's going to handle it. Your guess is as good as mine. Hell bells. Oh. Wow. Bloody wow. Gosh, Bruce, look at that! Oh, this is incredible, guys. So far, so good, touch wood. I'm really impressed. Right, look, before I speak too soon, let's have a fade out on this one. I'm going to say good night, God bless. Take care of yourselves and each other. Keep well, be safe. And just, well, look after yourselves. Hope you've enjoyed today's show, and the next video I have got something absolutely completely different. It's already planned, it's already set up, and I've never done anything like it before. So guys, good night, God bless from me.